definitely had some. It's definitely otitis externa here.
Yeah. So I was pulling my hair just for about a few hours. What's interesting, automized very quickly, got rid of the pain, literally within a few minutes. And it kind of made it go away completely. And then it came back again, did the same.
You didn't got any water in there, have you? Or
No.
you know what triggered it? Or?
Did put some headphones when I'm watching TV at home. My wife watches a different channel. But I never put them, they're not, they're like iPods, they're not really going very far.
Just sweating humidity maybe. We're going to have an ice cream afterwards if you want to join us.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a trouble with my wax, it's an annoying time.
It's that clay type, but this, because there's been probably a bit of bacteria as well, it's made it, and obviously you've used it optimized, it's just made it very mushy. Brings back memories. Kind of the first wax removal I did with the endoscopes. Oddly enough, I was watching that video the other day because I had to find a video of someone came across that.
Pour some wine around and rinse it with that.
Is it sterile?
Well, if you like cooking, I think you like cooking.
Yeah.
You could use the wine to cook.
Yeah, make some risottos. You don't have to do that. I feel
No.
you're like my guru, my mentor. So like, I'm privileged that I can. I mean, what technique would you use if it keeps blocking? So I don't want to put any drops in there because it's obviously the rotator external. You just unblock it, or you use a bit of saline to suction tube.
Oh yeah, I thought a bit of saline, but that's another device you need to work on. I was thinking something with brushes, you could put it in. You have a way of, because people do like de-waxing. If they could spend less time unblocking their tube,
Yeah.
they could get a lot more done.
Well, you know that suction, I think I told you about the suction handle that I've applied for a patent on.
Yeah.
That, the way I've designed, I don't want to say too much, but that is very good at unblocking.
Yeah.
So it's just the mechanism behind it. It's completely.
I mean, I had a one where I put a tube actually down that thing with it connected to saline, and that wouldn't get blocked, but it was extremely complicated, and it wouldn't really be practical.
What would you do in surgery? Just come out and get a
Yeah, you just have to keep. I suppose if you have two suctions and an assistant, you could keep changing suckers and give one back to the assistant.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're really, time dependent, and you've got, potentially 20 patients to see, you could do it that way.
Actually, I'll ask you off camera. I was going to get a new, just some blocks or something every time I come out.
Yeah, it's really frustrating when they're like that.
Yeah.
Like, and if you... Okay, good. That probably will do it now.
I'll just see what's around there. Looks good. It's just a bit lateral. I'll just use a correct and just just looks a bit tender.
No, it wasn't uncomfortable at all, so...
Don't speak too soon. Use a bit of suction in that region. I'll use tell you what I'm using a lot of now, 16 gauge.
Right.
A lot of ENT, because we also were saying in New Zealand, a lot of the ENT they use a longer angulation.
Yeah, not sure what gauge was it, 14?
We normally use 14,
Yeah.
that's the standard zone, but 16.
It's a bit smaller, is it?
Yeah, it's in between the fine end and
Okay.
obviously.
Yeah, because 18 is the...
I don't use 18 actually, I prefer 17 now. For my fine end, I use a 17.
Yeah.
I've sent you some, haven't I? I've got some upstairs. You can take some. A little bit of debris left. I think that's good. I'll just have a final look. So busy with clear wax, we've got so many orders, I'm going to have to do it a bit later on. The weekend it gets backed up. Just clean the inside of the specular so we get a good view.
Your angled instruments are also quite useful, I have to say. I've got a stock and I still use them.
I'll give you some more today because we've upgraded the material.
Okay.
So it's a lot, I know, it'd be a bit firmer and still flexible, but definitely better than the originals. Unless the ones that you've got, I've sent you some ones afterwards, I can't remember. I'll give you some more. Brilliant.
Yeah,
Cool.
Very good, thank you.
Oops. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed that view of both Mr. Rejali, who's my not only colleague but my mentor and guru. I mentioned that during the course of the video. And this is actually his left ear. I performed the procedure in his left ear first, and that's because we knew that he had otitis externa in the right ear. So in that instance, you always want to perform the procedure if it's required in the non-infected ear, because it just saves having to decontaminate or replace specular instruments from the infected ear if you do that first to the non-infected ear. So we always start off with the non-infected ear first, because you can still use the same instrument specular in their infected ear, but you don't want to do it the other way around. So for anyone who doesn't know who Mr. Rejali is, I have mentioned him quite a few times in previous videos. When I was a student audiologist, I worked alongside Mr. Rejali during my placement year, and I learnt so much. And ever since we've become friends and also colleagues, Mr. Rejali, along with myself and my other colleague, Kaz Shiraz, who's an audiologist like myself, we co-founded ClearWax back in 2015, believe it or not. So a decade ago now. And me and Mr. Rejali and also Kaz, we all keep in touch regularly. And I received a message from Mr. Rejali yesterday to see if whether he can pop into the clinic today afternoon, because he's developed some otitis externa in the right ear and he just needed his ears cleaned, which I take it as a great honour, because he had to travel about an hour each way, so a couple of hours to see myself. He obviously trusts me enough to do the procedure. And so with the left side, this is just pure wax. Mr. Rejali does suffer from cerominosis. So cerominosis is actually the medical term given for earwax buildup, and it's quite frequent actually. So I think the last time we cleaned his ear out, I think it was actually my colleague Sita during our ClearWax training course back last April. And so he knew he was due, so it's almost perennial every year. And he's got this very clay type of wax. It's quite a difficult one sometimes to suction because it blocks the tube quite a lot, but we managed to clear the right one out, the left one out relatively easily. It's also got very, very narrow bendy ear canals, and I'm somewhat used to removing wax from Mr. Rejali's bendy ears, so I suspect that was another reason why he popped over. We also had a good catch up. We went for an ice cream. We talked about some of the stuff that we're working on behind the scenes, which is great. So I'm just using a curette just to take some excess wax now. Removing all the wax is not necessarily. In fact, Mr. Rejali's quite insistent on that, because having a bit of wax here and there, it's actually protective. It protects the epidermis layer of skin, so it maintains the acid mantle. So earwax is mildly acidic, and the mild acidity of earwax helps to inhibit harmful bacterial growth in the ear. It also it's hydrophobic, so it prevents the underlying skin from drying and cracking. And obviously, it's greasy and oily, full of lipids, so that also moisturizes the skin. And it also helps to collect dust and dirt. It traps it. So I'm just using a smaller specular here just to see the anterior aspect of the eardrum, because as I said, it's very narrow, so we can see that now with the smaller specular. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Take care, keep well, speak soon.